HTTV in association with Absolute Warehouse Services. Steers, thank you for joining us in what is a very unusual circumstance. The fans have been pouring their questions in for you on social media, so we thought we'd look at some of the best ones. So the first one is from Perth. She says, what is your career highlight?
So my career highlight, I've been fortunate enough to be promoted a few times, most recently with Sheffield United. So I'd have to go with the promotions I've managed to achieve, 2 with Wolves and 1 with Sheffield United.
And the next question links in perfectly with that, which is from Jamie Denton. He says, do you remember the moment when you were celebrating with the Sheffield United fans? There's some iconic pictures, isn't there, of you with a beer glass on your head, for example. Do you remember anything from that?
How can I forget it? I get reminded quite regularly on my Twitter feed quite often. Yeah, I mean, what a fantastic time to be a Sheffield United player and fan. Yes, I do remember parts of it. It was all a little bit of a blur those few days, but it was fantastic to be able to celebrate as players and fans together. Something I'll never forget.
Yeah, and Jay Singh's come in with a question. He's asked, if an asteroid came down to Earth, would you head it away, or would you do a Cruyff turn?
Head it away, of course. That's what I'm paid to do. One of my jobs.
Cruyff turns have become iconic for you now, though, haven't they?
Yeah, I seem to manage to do one or a couple every game or so. It just happens. It's part of my makeup, part of my game. So yeah, that and heading the ball.
Ringo has asked, who's been your favourite player to play alongside?
If we were talking just at town, I'd have to go with KG, Carlin Grant, just for the simple fact that when he plays, he more often than not scores. So it helps me do my job if he's putting the ball in the back of the net.
And in your career, is there one you could say?
There is one that somebody I was kind of in awe of actually playing alongside. Scott Parker at Fulham. He captained the country. Fantastic player. He's coming towards sort of the end of his career when I managed to play with him, but you could tell he still had it. Someone I wish I'd played with when he was maybe 10 years younger.
And along those lines, James has asked, who is the best player you've come up against?
Yeah, I've been lucky that I played for a few seasons in the Premier League, and so all the strikers that sort of come along with that, your Rooney's, Drogba, Torres, all of those. But I'd say the best one I came up against was Luis Suarez. His movement was unplayable at times. He was clever. He could obviously put the ball in the back of the net. He was quick. And then he obviously got a big move to Barcelona. The best partnership I came up against was Carlos Tevez and Sergio Aguero. They put 5 past me that day. That was a tough afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. Sam, who's a young supporter, has asked, how did you get into becoming a professional footballer?
Just through my love of football started me off on my path. Played sort of local football and from an early age at school. So sort of 4, 5, 6 years old. Just progressed playing locally, Saturday, Sunday games, and the odd game for the school. Then things sort of got a little bit more serious. By the time I hit about 10, I got picked up by Leicester City. And then from there on, I sort of just progressed through the various age groups until I came to the end of my school years and signed a contract there with Leicester City, sort of a scholarship scheme. And then, just went from strength to strength there, really. Got a professional contract, and 10, 15 years later, here I am now at Huddersfield Town.
And at Huddersfield Town, 2 supporters have asked this question. Who is the funniest player in the dressing room?
Funniest player? I would go with Alex Pritchard. Me and him seem to share a similar sort of sense of humour, so we tend to make each other laugh on a daily basis. Someone else who provides me with a bit of laughter is Kachunga. he seems to, be cracking jokes quite a bit as well. So those two for me.
Richard Broom has asked, what song do you sing when you're washing your hands?
Happy birthday, of course. That's what we're all told to do, isn't it?
Give us a rendition or...
No.
Super. Thank you very much for that, Steers. And supporters, if you've got any questions for any other Huddersfield Town players, look out on our social media channels and we'll see if yours get answered.